This is James Governor, Stephen O'Grady from RedMonk. We are here at IBM Think 2026 in lovely Boston. And we've been here for a couple of days. This is a quick take about our reckons, what we think about the event, what are the key takeaways. So Steve, over to you. What are your key takeaways?
So there's a couple of things I think. So, one of the ones that jumps out to me is the sort of notion of models, right? So this idea that, when we think about the industry today, so much of the time and attention from a press standpoint goes to these frontier models, right? The Claudes and the ChatGPTs of the world. And they're great. They're enormously capable. They can do sort of all sorts of incredible things. But, one of the things that has also occurred over time is that the open models have been getting better and better and better. For some tasks, depending on what you want to do, you might not sort of be able to leverage that, or you might not want to leverage a larger model because you want to train it to do something small and discrete. So I think one of the interesting conversations that has been happening here is this idea of, hey, there's room for lots of different models to, depending on what you're trying to achieve.
I love that. I mean, I think the right model for the right task, super important. I mean, as an industry, we sort of made a joke about like token maxing.
Yeah.
And you got people that are like, you're not going to make it unless you're spending $2,000 a day on tokens.
Yeah.
You, on the other hand, spend a lot of time waiting for your next allotment, right?
Yeah. As we joke internally, it's the, hey, I have to wait for my token refresh period is the new, I have to wait for my code to compile.
Yeah. I can't work till 4 p.m.
That's right.
Or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So basically, in an environment where enterprises are not going to be buying into this token maxing mentality of people spending thousands of dollars a day literally on tokens. That's just not going to fly if you work at a bank in the Midwest or a retailer or something like that. So from a token economics perspective, and I do think the industry is going to increasingly be focusing on this, the economics of tokens in terms of the models we've got, certainly in terms of software delivery. Absolutely, that's going to be key. Right model to the right job, and that's something they've been talking about a fair bit.
Yeah. What else?
AI operating model.
So obviously, when we think about it, sort of AI, right? We think about the landscape, and this is true again whether you're using it as a developer or an enterprise, right? Is that there's a lot of moving pieces, right? There's a lot of different projects, there's a lot of different frameworks, there's a lot of different libraries. Everything has to come together to sort of deliver whatever it is you're trying to deliver, right? Whether it's something basic from code assist, to AI agentic applications and so on. And, one of the things that has been difficult, sort of at an individual and an enterprise level is trying to figure out, all right, what are these requisite pieces and where do they fit? How do I put them together? And what does this look like? And it's not a solved problem by any stretch of the imagination, but IBM here has been talking about what they call the AI operational model, right? So they're defining categories and they're saying, okay, here's the sort of different requisite pieces and here's how they would sort of in theory fit together. And so that's been useful. I think it's very much first steps. It's certainly not okay.
Enterprise need a lot of help. That's right. It's always a culture transformation. That's one that IBM...
It gives you a framework in terms of how to think about it.
Absolutely. So that's sort of, they're saying the AI operating model needs to happen now. One thing that's in the future is quantum computing. And I think it was really interesting is that they had Cleveland Health come and they were talking about the fact that they were using quantum computing now in order to get better outcomes in terms of, basically biomedicine. And, anything that's taken state-of-the-art forward for medicine, I'm all about that. And it's one of the first really clear use cases. And so Cleveland have worked with IBM. They've actually got their own quantum computer and they're doing that work. I think that is fascinating. And I guess for me, those would be some of the key takeaways from Think 2026.
Sounds great.